Welcome to the Grappling Grappling Rewind Podcast.
Welcome to this week on the Grappling Rewind Podcast. On today's episode, we're going to recap GrappleFest 3, we're going to preview Men of War 4, Fight to Win 95, and Finishers Sub Only 7. As always, I'm your host, Maine, joined with my co-host,
Emil.
How you doing, Emil?
I'm doing great, man. How was Thanksgiving?
It was a very long drive.
I think we both ended up driving to New England, and it was a total clusterfuck because 95 sucks.
Dude, it was not great. We left Wednesday, and it was a solid 12-hour drive. Sorry, not 12 hours. It was 11 hours and 50 minutes door to door.
I had a dumb long drive and got fucking greeted by a goddamn blizzard in like 12-degree weather. So.
Good morning. Welcome to the snow.
Yep. Yeah,
Jesus.
I'm so glad to be back in Maryland. I mean, I had an awesome time at Thanksgiving. But,
yeah, it was great, but I just I realized I moved out of that state for a good reason. Missed me with that snow bullshit. Look, I got there, I was like, oh, cool, it's snowing, and there's snow, and it's cold as fuck. This is why I moved.
Why do you still name yourself after the state then?
Man, you don't choose your names. It is what it is.
Okay.
So it was good. It was a fun trip, and I managed to be sick pretty much the entire last week, so
Dude,
so that was great.
You're falling apart. Like, anyone who's listening right now, like, Maine is basically like one of the zombies from Walking Dead. Like, just about
pretty much.
every part of his body is falling apart.
I have a torn shoulder.
Yep.
I just recovered over the knee injury.
Yep.
I've got something wrong with the sciatic nerve in my leg.
Yep.
Let's see. I got like a head cold for the past week and a half, and yeah.
And then you're going to compete a whole bunch, too.
Oh, yeah. I signed up for 4 competitions coming up because I have no...
Because you hate your body.
Yeah, pretty much, because I hate my body.
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
excited. I also want to win a fucking Naga belt.
Yeah.
Super bad. Like, I want to win that goddamn belt.
I can already see you not taking it off if you ever win it, so...
Dude, if I win a fucking Naga belt, like, I'm going to wear that shit to work. So,
Awesome.
That's been good. So let's move into the news section. What do you got for news, Emil?
Pretty slow week, but big piece of news. We have a date now for the ADCC West Coast Trials.
February 9th.
Yeah, that's going to be fire, obviously. So
it's gonna be fire.
Yeah,
Hey,
dude.
Dylon, calm down.
Hey, no, it's going to be fucking awesome, man. The East Coast Trials were so dope.
If the East Coast Trials are anything like the West Coast Trials, like, it is going to be a crazy, crazy bracket.
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of guys we didn't see on the East Coast Trials that we were like, why aren't they in there?
Yeah,
and
like all
okay.
the fucking SoCal guys, you know, like AOJ and fucking Atos.
I forgot, like Atos, AOJ, and then pick your other San Diego or like California-based gym. So those trials are probably going to be one of the craziest brackets we've ever seen.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, I think...
And you're going to have all the East Coast guys that didn't make it that like want to go do it and do it West Coast.
And the Tim Spriggs who just wants to say fuck you to everybody.
I don't know if he can do that.
It would be hilarious if he did.
Like, because I know they don't let former... So what we're talking about is Tim Spriggs talked about he wanted to do won the East Coast Trials for ADCC. So he has a spot to ADCC. And he talked about he also wanted to do the North American West Coast Trials to basically take away a spot from someone else. And, well, funny as that may be, and he could maybe fucking do it, I don't think they'll actually let him do that because I think that once you have your spot, you can no longer compete in trials, is my thought. You know the funny thing? If they let him do it, he wins, and they bracket him in 2 sections of the bracket. Tim Spriggs, and then also Tim Spriggs, and he meets Tim Spriggs in the finals because on the opposite side of the bracket, he closes out with himself.
It's 4D chess, man. He's just operating on a different level.
So that's coming up on the 9th of February. That's exciting. I am super excited to see who gets announced for that. Not announced. Who we see register for that in the build-up because the East Coast Trials was crazy. And there were so many guys that we thought were going to do ADCC that weren't there. So it's going to be psychotic.
Yeah.
In other news, there's pretty much nothing else going on.
Yeah.
It has been a quiet Thanksgiving-filled week for most everyone. Next week, we have a ton of events, and then we are getting into the end of the year. We're going to start to get together a top 10 matches of the year. So we're having all the guys from the team put together their matches, and then we're going to go through and kind of talk about them, and then we'll submit, and we'll do an end-of-the-year show like we did last year with our top 10 matches of 2018. And there's some good ones.
Yeah, this has been a crazy year for jiu-jitsu.
This has been the first full calendar year that we've done the show, so it's I'm looking back through some of the matches. I'm like, oh, goddamn, that was this year too? It's going to be a lot of fun. So that's on the horizon. But enough about that. Let's get on to GrappleFest 3. So, on to the recap of GrappleFest 3. Where do we want to start, Emil? You want to start with the main card? I think that's where we should start.
Let's start with the rules real quick. So,
Okay.
This was a 10-minute sub-only match. Didn't have overtimes. Could go to ref's decision, and submission attempts sort of counted towards the ref's
So
decisions.
real similar to the fight to win rules.
Yes,
like almost
exactly.
exactly the same as fight to win rules.
Yes, yeah, precisely. I think the title fight was 20 minutes.
Yeah, title fights were 20 minutes. They were long.
Right. So
I think just the title fight. I don't think Mateus Diniz versus Daniel Straus was 10 minutes. It was 20 minutes. I think it was only 10.
yes.
But I know the Ross Nichols and Gianni Grippo match was 20 minutes long
Yeah,
because
that was 20.
it was a hella long match.
Yeah, it was really long. But yeah, let's start off there.
All right, let's start with Ross Nichols versus Gianni Grippo. So Nichols defeats Grippo. You say it.
Grippo. Yeah.
You say it Grippo, not Grippo.
That's
You're the only guy I know that pronounces like that. But
That's
you've
how I was
trained.
told, yeah.
But you
So-
literally trained with the dude. So
I'd never trained with him, but I know like my instructors and stuff did. So
okay, but they were from New York, so
yeah.
take it with a grain of salt.
But yeah, this was an interesting match because we saw Gianni kind of take like a really aggressive passing stance, like we saw him do against John Calistine. He was just like sitting in that knee cut pass for a long time and being really dominant there.
But he looked like every time he get in that position, he looked like really, really stable. He didn't look like he was getting taken over. He looked really confident in his passing. His passing looked really good. He won one or two times. He passes all the way to the mount. I think once he passes all the way to the mount and then lets Nichols get the quarter guard back and tries to take his back, and Nichols flattens back out. There's a whole bunch of really good sequences here. But Grippo looks really, really dominant. But he looked like he was playing for points.
He was, yeah. Like that's exactly right. Like there was not even a hint of a threat for a submission at any point. He was going kind of like the bread and butter, position, and then position control, and then submission.
Yeah, he looked like he wanted the back, and that's what I think he was going to start attacking from the back. But he didn't really seem like he wanted anything else but that. He was going to position. I mean, again, in all of the kind of areas of the match, he was positionally dominant. He was controlling, but he didn't put up any offense as far as like submission attempts.
He also, just like the Calistine match, didn't alternate pass attempts. He was only doing the knee cut.
But the knee cut was working this time, and he was getting around Nichols'
sort of. I mean,
knee shield there.
There was a lot of a lot of the match was them battling, like doing grip battlings, where Gianni was really trying to get a head grip on Ross, and just basically them fighting.
Yeah, he was trying to use that to pass.
Yeah, but
because we know that he likes to use that grip on the back of the neck and that knee cut to pass there. Because
Right.
he pulls them in and he kind of folds them in, which changes the angle of the top knee, which lets him pass. And
Right.
that's how he gets around. So he gets the side control. That's how he hops to mount. And
But-
he was doing that. It looked good.
But yeah, as you said, it looks a lot like he was, in an IBJJF match.
Oh yeah, he looked exactly like he was an IBJJF match.
And
Like,
that kind of played against him because even though Ross was getting his guard passed a couple times, he was throwing up sub attempts, which is what counts in this particular rule set.
I mean, if there's only, I think pretty much it's the same as a fight to win rule set, which we like a lot. It's if there's no submission attempts, it's positional dominance, activity, and aggressiveness. If there are submission attempts, that trumps all.
Right.
So as soon as Ross threw up a couple sub attempts and Gianni didn't answer with his own sub attempts, he was winning.
Right.
Even if he was on the bottom, even if he was getting passed,
Yep.
even if he was getting around, like
Yes.
it didn't matter because Ross threw up, I think. You and I both counted, I think, a little differently, but Ross
I would say
had
at least 2 submission attempts, if not the third one was a little bit kind of like gray area.
They were like legitimate submission attempts. Ross has a really cool, I know it as a violin arm lock from the bottom.
It's a straight arm lock. It's kind of like the Marcelo straight arm lock from Butterfly.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what I would
Tonin
call
uses
it.
that to flip guys over with. I think it's called, there's a really cool sweep off that. It's called like a gringo sweep or something like
Yeah,
that.
and actually Daniel Straus attempted it against Mateus Diniz.
Daniel Straus likes that move.
Yeah.
You see him use that a lot.
Yep.
Because he plays that butterfly game with that really high hand position.
In this case, Ross secures the straight arm bar, and it looks real tight. Like it looked really
Oh
uncomfortable.
yeah, Gianni
to me.
moved a hell of a lot to get out of it.
And he wasn't. What was interesting was he wasn't focusing on the sweep. Like he wasn't. He was trying to position his legs to just finish it right
Oh
there.
yeah, Ross was not going for it as a positional move. Ross was going for it as a finishing move, and it was tight. And Gianni gets out. Ross doesn't switch to the omoplata there, which I thought he was going to, but he doesn't end up doing it.
Right.
And they kind of go back. But there's another section here where Ross gets deep on Gianni's legs, like twice, but really only throws up, I think, one legitimate submission attempt. And one of the first kind of bites he gets on the knee line, he goes for a heel hook that Gianni has to kind of pull out straight, and he has a really hard time freeing his knee line there.
Yeah, and to Ross's credit, he did such a good job at readjusting, and rolling along with Gianni.
Yeah.
This was not I'm going to throw up a leg lock and see what happens, and the other person just shucks him out.
It was throwing up leg locks when attempting to actually have control when the leg lock was in there, because anytime that he didn't get control, Grippo would just turn his foot, basically point away from Grippo and just kind of pull his leg out. And towards the end of the match, we saw a lot more of that, where Grippo kind of knew what entry Ross was going to use and would immediately beat the knee line, or if he didn't immediately beat the knee line, he would immediately change the angle so that Ross would have to adjust, and when Ross adjusted to get the knee line, he could get out.
So, Gianni obviously looked really calm and collected and defended beautifully. I'm surprised that he didn't have more kind of like strategical awareness.
I'm surprised he played the points game as opposed to throwing up the subs, because he looked like he was moving around well. He did a lot of good stuff, but it was a weird decision to make from a gamesmanship perspective.
Exactly.
But Ross is really fucking good, dude. He just won the trials for European trials for ADCC.
He is really good.
And that's obviously being able to hold up with a guy like Gianni for 20 minutes. This is a 20-minute match. This is a long match.
Given the rule set, I do think that Ross obviously deserved the win there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. I don't want to take anything away from Ross, because it was a beautiful performance from both guys.
Right.
But I think you and I both thought it was really strange that Grippo seemed to really play that like positional game and wasn't going for subs.
Yeah, it was peculiar, especially because we've seen from his teammates, Mateus Diniz and Lutz as well.
Yeah, Mateus Lutz.
Those guys are aggressive, man. I
think Gianni was aggressive here, but
I'm saying like the Mateuses are aggressive in a submission kind of like they're going to be attacking submissions, and they're going to be using submission attempts to force passes.
But they're also much bigger guys too.
Yeah,
and I think honestly, like they can once you get around the guard as a bigger guy, like you can do a little more, not more damage, but you have a little more available to you as a smaller guy, where it's like that guy can just snake his leg in at any point, get you in a half guard, elevate you, and get you in like a leg entanglement, like Ross was doing here. But it was just really interesting to see both these guys go against each other and the matchup of games, because Gianni was playing for the points, and Ross was playing for the rule set.
Right.
It was really interesting. So I do not assume. I think these guys have gone against each other before. I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. But Johnny's been having a killer year, so this is just a little road
so was
bump.
Ross though.
It's a little hiccup. Yeah, no, that's true.
We're gonna see him at fucking ADCC.
Yeah, no, actually, these guys probably will face each other again at some point.
Yeah, so that was good. It was a good match, honestly. It was a real technical. Didn't get stally at any point. It was real technical, and from the smaller guys, if you're gonna go back and watch a match, it was, I think, a good match to go watch. Definitely a little on the slower side, but.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that the action is spaced out, but there's definitely action in there. And just taking a step back too. This promotion is awesome, man. Like I love the venue. Like we talked about this before, but like
we talked about it last time, where it was like it looks like it's in a bar or like a nightclub.
Yeah, it's just dope. Like like people have booths right there. Like you see them like drinking and eating and stuff, and it seems like such an awesome way to like watch jiu-jitsu.
It looked busy too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it looked fucking awesome. So. And the commentary was solid.
Yeah, knowledgeable. They knew it. They weren't saying weird shit.
No, it was good. It was really good. So just all around, really, really awesome. So
so there's issues to stream here and again, but I'm not sure if that was on GrappleFest side or that was on the Flow side. But
and it was only like a hiccup here and there.
Yeah, and I refreshed the page and it would be back and be fine.
So
it might have been my end, but you had the same thing. So I don't know if it was my end, if it was their end.
Yep, but. Not a big deal either way. So
So move on to the next match. Unless you got anything else to add on this match, because this was fun. Like I want to go back and watch this specifically to look at how Grippo was escaping his knee past the knee line. Because he did a couple things that were really, really slick when Ross would get on his heel or get on kind of on the heel hook and on pulling his leg through. That Grippo was really, really calm and methodical in how he was escaping, and I want to go back and watch it because it wasn't just the athletic. It was no athletic escape. It was just like I put my leg here, you put your leg here, then I turn here, and I free the knee line, then I push off here, and I'm out. It was really, really good positional control there.
Definitely.
And escapes.
Lots to dig into that. So, but let's talk about Diniz and Daniel Straus.
Mateus Diniz versus Daniel Straus.
This match was like I was looking forward to this so much. You know, like I love both of these guys. You know, Mateus Diniz is a fucking beast.
Yeah,
With
and Straus
Marcelo.
is now the not to cut you off there. Strauss is now the heir to the Sakuraba
Yeah,
kingdom,
and just also like really fun and like just always has such a good time. You know, when he's rolling.
super
And
happy guy.
Super happy guy. Like he walked out, I think, to Shania Twain.
He walked into something.
I think it was Shania
what
Twain.
Is this?
It's hilarious because Mateus Diniz comes in looking like a total badass, and you know Daniel Straus is a total badass. These guys they both look fucking jacked. You know, like
Oh my god,
they're huge. But like you know, for Daniel Straus to come out with a luchador mask and fucking Shania
he came out
Twain.
in the Sakuraba mask.
Yeah, the one that he gave him. Yeah. So this was, you know, these guys immediately sort of started collar tying and, you know, doing really aggressive.
And you knew it was going to be
stand-up.
a big guy wrestling match from the beginning.
Yeah.
And then Mateus picked the pace up.
Yep. He was like, guess what? Blast double time. Boom. Puts Daniel Straus on his back and just starts doing like. I was so impressed with Diniz because he's on his knees, right? Like he's doing passing from the ground. He's not doing the standing passing, but he's exploding into these kind of like headstand passes,
Yeah.
and then going both sides. You know, like he's
Yep.
leaping around, and
He's like switching his shoulders and hips in the air to get around. I was like, oh god damn, he's really big and really athletic to do that.
so I've done this drill with like a fucking grappling dummy or like, you know, a partner who's like standing still, but to see him do this to like another jacked fucking human like was incredible. And
It was impressive.
to Straus's credit, like his butterfly guard was really dexterous. Like his regarding was incredible, and
Oh, yeah.
he was able to regard on a bunch of these pass attempts. Eventually, Mateus does just through sheer will, you know.
When she gets that slide through pass,
Yep.
not really a slide through pass. I don't know what to call it. It was he eventually just kind of hops over his legs and is able to get there,
Right.
And kind of pin Dan's hip down to get around his legs completely. And I was like, oh shit, he actually finally got past his legs. And it took a while for that to happen. Dan was really, really active with the regard and with keeping his knees in the way. But eventually Mateus is able to get around. And within just a beautiful passing sequence too.
And then this is where we just see like really aggressive work from Diniz. You know, like these
Diniz
guys.
was on the attack the entire time, and Straus was on the defense for pretty much the entire match. Till right at the end, Dan started throwing up those jumping guillotines, which really, with how the match had gone, you knew Mateus had it in the bag, unless Dan was able to kind of really get on his neck. But Mateus was much taller than Straus.
And the other thing is, like, the commentators brought this up. They were like, okay, so Straus is known for his butterfly guard and guillotines, but Mateus Diniz trains with Marcelo Garcia, who is like the motherfucking inventor of butterfly guard and guillotines.
It's like also a guy who is known for worldwide at a high level his butterfly guard and his guillotines.
Like I'm not saying it's impossible, but I just think that's maybe not the attack that you want to do against one of the Marcelo guys.
Well, it's like I loved it because it's like you're doing an attack like Dan Straus is jumping for the guillotines. And literally doing the same jumping guillotine that Marcelo Garcia made fucking famous.
Yeah, like.
It's like Mateus Diniz has probably
He's
seen
probably
that before.
it's probably happened. He probably can see it coming or knows how to get out of it. Like, but anyway, you know, this was just a dominant match by Diniz.
I was really impressed with both these guys, though.
Yeah, no, and like I said, like to Straus's credit, like his butterfly guard is fucking impressive. Like,
I think guys at a less high caliber, I don't know what the word I'm looking for there is, then Straus would have really been crushed down by Diniz and wouldn't have been able to keep up that level of activity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for a big dude, both these dudes had some gas in the tank. Like,
oh, dude.
They were moving for the 10-minute match. At no point, like 7 minutes into, they both kind of go, oh, we're both tired now, we're going to rest.
Nah.
It was like they were both crushing through the positions and really working the entire time. It was nice, especially at the end of a card like this. You don't want the last 3 matches to be like really technical grip fights where a guy's like gonna collar tie and then push him away push him away. It was like both guys were really going for it.
I've noticed like Mateus Diniz and Mateus Lutz are fucking savages. Like,
dude, they
pour it on, you know, like they just pour it on and they don't give a fuck. Like, they're waiting for you. And then actually this, like, Lutz kind of talked about this when we talked to him afterwards at SAGC, that the only thing that he changes for different rule sets is the pacing,
right?
And you can just see that attitude where they're like, okay, you know, we're gonna bring the heat enough to drain them out in whatever rule set there is, and then just, you know, eventually impose our will, you
Yeah.
know, one way or another.
Really fun match, impressive match. I was impressed for both guys here. One for Mateus' passing, but two for Straus's ability to kind of like not persevere, but like just continue to deal with that level of pressure and not make a dumb fucking mistake.
Yeah.
And because you see these guys especially when big guys push this kind of pace, especially in Nogi, eventually someone makes a mistake, and the guy usually getting the pace imposed on him makes a mistake, and that's all she wrote. But that didn't happen in this match, so it was a lot of fun.
So Mateus Diniz wins this by decision, ref decision at the end of
Deservedly
regulation
so.
time. Yep, absolutely. Yep,
So
control the match. So
on to the next match, we have Freddie. I cannot pronounce Freddie's last name.
Vazgran
defeats Cameron
Atakuru.
by inside heel hook. So I've actually met Freddie before.
Oh, no shit.
I met him at the DC Open.
Okay.
He is a buddy with one of the guys from our gym. The guy that runs Tapper Snap.
Yeah, this is the guy in the red singlet. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was incredible, man.
Yeah. So it's funny. So I met him, and David Brennan, the guy that runs just the Tap, introduced me to him, and he met him at a camp, and it was really funny, really cool guy. I think he's German. And he is fucking huge and jacked. I think he took double gold at the DC
These
Open.
guys are fucking huge. And this is the under 100 kilogram division, which would be 220 pounds.
Yeah, and they're both every bit of that.
Yeah.
Like, we saw Cameron come out first. It's like, this is a big fucking dude. And you saw Freddie come out like, okay, this is also a big fucking dude.
Yeah, and at one point they're on the ground, and Freddie does this fucking awesome, like, you know.
Hold up. We're getting ahead of ourselves. The funniest thing for me, sorry, not the...
Yeah.
Like, Freddie comes out in like a old school wrestling singlet.
Yes.
And then immediately pulls guard.
Yeah.
And I went, what the fuck? All right.
It just psychs him out. And he did such a good job. Like, you could tell that, like, his guard work is, like, really impressive. This is another big guy with good guard work. He does...
You're really eating that one recently, aren't you?
Yeah, I guess.
So if you missed it, Emil talked a ton of shit. Not a ton of shit, a little bit of shit. During the East Coast trials of all the big guys and, like, their guard work. And then the past 3 weeks, we've seen really good big guys with really technical guard work. And Emil every time has just gone, all right, another one with good technical guard work.
Hey, you know, I will admit I'm wrong. This was
really you own it, Emil.
This is impressive. This guy, so Freddie basically does, you know, like a star sweep, how you kind of like underhook and then do a rolling inversion. Have you ever done a star sweep?
I think I have.
Okay.
I know it as a...
Anyway,
yeah.
He basically rolls up and kicks his leg behind Cam's back and then shucks him forward and then is able to get into a saddle position, like really, really nice. And Cam, to his credit, really quickly triangles his legs to prevent the heel hook. And there's a battle for a while, but eventually Freddie's able to untangle the legs and immediately get that inside heel hook.
I go back and watch this whole match, honestly, because this is probably my match of the weekend as far as like a fun, beautiful drill. You can just tell that Freddie has drilled this sequence so many times, knows exactly where to go, knows exactly where to put his hands. I want to say Freddie's like a 4-stripe brown belt. Double gold at DC Open, like really good competitor, competes all the time. And this is the first time we're seeing him on a card like this is on like the main card of a big card like this.
Yeah.
So beautiful finishing sequence from the pole all the way to the star sweep variation, the saddle entry, unlocking the legs. You can tell that Freddie just is like a one step ahead and knows exactly where he wants to be and exactly where he wants to have Cam switch his legs to so he can get the heel hook. So as soon as Cam switches the legs, it is just there.
Yeah. Awesome finish. So next we have Tom Coffey defeating Lloyd Cooper by decision. We have Owen O'Flanagan submitting Liam Corgan.
I think it's Ian.
Damn it. I thought I crushed that.
No, it's Owen. Wait, is it Owen?
Owen.
What would you say?
Now I can't even remember.
I think you got it right. I just fucked you up.
Well,
I think it's Owen.
We're all fucked up.
I think it's Owen O'Flanagan.
Okay.
I think you said it right, and then I fucked you up because I saw the E, and I was like, no, this name's funny.
Okay.
My bad, Emil.
We think it's Owen O'Flanagan. Submits Liam Corgan by armbar. So there's a little bit of like stream issues here. Actually, not a little bit. This I didn't get to see the finishing sequence because the stream kind of like glitched. And at first, thought, okay, maybe it's like a buffering issue on my side. Went back, reloaded it. The same glitch happened. So I actually didn't get to see how this happened. I'm not sure if the live stream had the same glitch or not.
He gets him via armbar.
Yep, armbar. So Kieran Davern submits Ellis Younger by inside heel hook. So Kieran gets swept and then does a really awesome like sneaking his leg back in. So it's almost like repummeling for guard, but instead of just settling for a guard where you kick the person back with your leg, he swims it all the way over into a saddle and then rocks Ellis back.
The entry on this is really cool.
Yeah, it's like I need to drill it. Well, first I need hip flexibility.
Yeah,
I've been stretching. So
I've been stretching, says Emil,
dude,
in his early
this,
30s.
Yeah, well, man, like I see this shit and it really, truly, flexibility does set you back. I think more than strength does in jiu-jitsu. Like it limits more of what you can do.
It's called pummeling with the legs.
Yeah,
when you're not flexible, you can't do it.
Yep,
and
exactly.
Then you can't stop
your
the guard
regard.
pass.
Yeah, exactly. Your regard is trash.
At the highest levels, we see the dudes that are the most flexible have the most success with those regards.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, he's past, and he's not.
Yep.
Oh, he's all the way past, and it's like you see guys at the chest in north-south, and he like regards. You're like, yo, he's past.
Yep.
Give him the points, and he's like, nope, I got the leg back in.
Yep. Yeah, it's savage. So really great setup. So Kieran does a nice adjustment to reset the knee line and then finishes an inside heel hook. We got Matty Holmes defeating Nick Four by decision. Jack Sear defeating Martin Wong by decision. Wing Chao Chung defeating Freddie Sykes by decision. This match, there was actually a really brutal double toe hold attempt that had me like cringing the entire time.
With both the guys, they both have them. You see like both turn,
God.
and I'm like, yo, someone's foot's gonna break. Someone's leg is gonna break in half. Dude, toe holds make me so nervous recently. I don't know why.
It really does.
I don't know if it's because all of my knee injuries recently, like all my leg problems, but I see a toe hold, I'm like, oh God. And because they can finish, we've seen so much recently. We've seen guys finish the toe hold from a bunch of different points, and so you never know. It's one of the subs. It's one of the few subs that you can look at and you're not quite sure where the guy's foot can go. It's like, okay, is this gonna break this guy's foot, or is he totally fine here?
I get nervous because my ankles pop really easily. And
it creeps me out every time. Every time I felt like you would do that, it was like, oh.
Well, I mean, dude, twice. Former training partners, threw a toe hold on me, and this was Jason, who's super technical, very controlled, and threw one on, and like pop, and like
ow.
My ankle was stiff. Fortunately, only for a day, so it was, I don't know what happened exactly, but and then Georgie also threw one on me, and George basically only like got the grip and just put like an imperceptible amount. Like he was more or less waiting for me to react. He didn't like leap into it, and still my ankle popped like fucking, like goddamn packing.
All right, mental note, if I ever got to compete against you, I'm only throwing a steam and locks and toe holds.
Yeah, no, that's
mental note to me. I'll remember that.
It's a very, 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 very good way to get me to tap.
Some people can they have that flexibility in their feet, and other guys just don't.
I got the opposite of that. So watching that was excruciating. Next match, we got Abby O'Toole submitting Sophie Keenan by armbar. This was just sometimes I love watching the like bread and butter, like almost like perfect example sequence of jiu-jitsu. Like this was like the perfect knee cut into good crushing side control into far side armbar.
Yeah, it was A to B to C to sub.
It was just, it was beautiful.
Like, calm down, Hickson Gracie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I passed the guard. I'm not going back to B.
It was,
or however Hickson sounds.
It was good.
Yeah, it was really good. I love this. Like, does this sub? You're like, oh snap, that's just good jiu-jitsu on display there.
Doesn't need to be flashy,
I mean, it helps.
Yeah.
We much more talk about a flashy sub where it's like he did a fucking front flip and then guillotined him.
Right. But this also, I think what's impressive about this is the intent behind it. Because, like, there are times when people get to crushing side control and, like, they eventually get an armbar because the person on bottom is exhausted.
Where it's like a tritive.
Right, exactly. In this case, it was like Abby just imposing her will. She was like, I'm going to take your arm. So really, really impressive.
It was good positional control. You just saw, like, it was A to B to C to sub.
Yep.
It was just good.
So next we have Kev Corkle defeating Nathan Kay. Just really good leg lock battle. Really deep attempts here. And Kev put Nathan in uncomfortable heel hook. And actually a really deep calf slicer. The kind when you're in guard and they have their knee up in the middle, in between your legs, and you just kind of snake your arm through and just fucking yank on it. But not enough to get the submission, but enough to get me to cringe. So
Yeah.
Then we have Chris Payne's defeating George McManus on heel hook, and this match, the announcers got me to chuckle because they started calling all this leg lock attempts leg spaghetti.
The leg spaghetti.
Which is pretty fucking accurate.
I think I like that more than I like leg entanglement.
Yeah.
Because I think recently leg entanglement, I think we said it on the broadcast when we were doing SAGC. We talked about, let's look at this leg entanglement. It's a leg entanglement because at least myself, I need to get better at figuring out exactly what the names for the leg positions are. You're much better at it. Like, okay, this is a saddle, this is a 411, this is a honey hole, this is an inside senkaku, and being able to transition fluidly between all of those names is really fucking difficult. Especially depending what angle you have. It's like, okay, is this upper knee over his knee or underneath? Okay, is the heel trapped? Is it not trapped? It changes all the names of the position.
This is actually, it's funny that you bring that up. That nomenclature problem is exactly why Danaher is so anal retentive about using the Japanese, because it's a codified system.
No, it's not.
It's
triangle. Senkaku is where fucking triangle translated.
Yeah.
You can just call it a fucking triangle.
Yeah,
a leg
but
triangle.
It's not that the words contain any extra information than the English words. It's that they've been calling the same positions the same thing for like decades.
Yeah, but we don't work in a Japanese art.
No,
we speak English, and
right?
So it's like, so use the English words.
But there's no codified English. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I understand.
I would prefer to use English too. And
yeah, I would prefer to just like
not
name
be a fucking weeb nerd fucking talking Japanese and shit in a basement.
You never curse very often. You said fuck like 4 times in a row. Like,
yeah,
fucking, I hate this shit.
I don't want to I'm not a fucking Japanese ophile or whatever, but like.
I think it's Japanophile. That's the word.
Japanophile. Okay, Japanophile.
I just wish.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it makes sense. I don't care if it's Russian. I don't care if it's whatever. As long as there have been a consistent, like, naming set, I understand why people would go to that.
I just feel like that if we're going to have all these different names for positions, we need to come up with, and because each system, like 10th Planet has their own system of names. Danaher has his own system of names.
Well, he's that's the thing, is he didn't invent that. He's just taking it from judo. That's it. He's taking the judo names for things.
But judo doesn't have like.
Yes, it does.
Does it really?
Oh yeah, dude.
Huh.
All that shit's judo.
Okay.
He just took the judo words for it.
I want to hate, but I love all the names for judo throws in Japanese.
Yeah, see, that shit's dope.
But I'm also, because I've also learned it from like judo guys that it's like, oh, this is the name of this throw, and they have a very specific name. You ever want to piss off a judo guy? Show him a video of a throw, and then on a form, ask what throw it was. You will get an entire form of just arguing over the most minutia
I've seen
of
this
terms.
Shit before.
Dude, go to Reddit, judo.
I'm trying to remember. There was one time where Ronda Rousey posted a video of something that, it might have been
throw.
It might have been like a Harai Goshi or some shit, and she said, this is a Harai Goshi, or I can't remember what, and some fucking nerd gets on there and starts being like, well, technically it's blah 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 blah, and she called him out. She was like, look, I don't fucking care, like
it's Harai
like,
Goshi.
It's exactly.
But I love watching. I'm subscribed to R Judo on Reddit, and I love reading the threads where it's like, what's this throw? And then it's because they just get super nasty about it, which is really funny to him. Like, yo, he just wants to know the name of the throw, because there's all these like, oh, it's this thing, but his foot is here and the calf is here, so it actually turns into this throw because it's an outer minor reaping inner throw, as opposed to like the over outer throw, and like, oh, the Kazushi's different, so now it's this throw instead. I like how like specific they get, but at a certain point it gets fucking ridiculous.
Exactly. At some point you become a nerd in a basement.
I have no idea how we got into this tangent of judo names and throws, but I fucking love me some judo names and
we
throws.
were just talking about like leg entanglements.
Oh yeah, so he calls it, the commentary calls it leg spaghetti.
Yep.
And I also thought it was fucking hilarious, because I think are you in this leg spaghetti here, and then you get this leg.
Yep. So we can move on to the preliminary matches.
Yeah, let's do it. I think we've rambled enough with the main card. Main card was great, a lot of fun. I'm not sure if it's up yet on Flow Grappling. I could look, but I'm not going to. So by the time this is out, it is up. So if you're interested in it, go back and watch. On to the preliminary matches. Let's read through them. I'm going to give you the names, Emil.
Okay. Simon Price defeats Tom Rumens by unanimous decision. Shea Williams defeats Mason Farrington by triangle. Aaron Jordan defeats Shane Curtis by triangle. Sam Laird defeats Ian Wales by rear naked choke. James Winstonley defeats Lee McMahon by split decision. Josh Charrington defeats Sam Quinn by Kimura. Brad McDonough defeats Jack Rimmer by unanimous decision. Helen Harper defeats Simone Caffrey by unanimous decision. Danny Hughes defeats Jack Fletcher by rolling toe hold.
Not a static toe hold, a rolling toe hold.
I like that delineation. That's cool.
Yeah.
Ben Hills defeats Kev McAllister by Peruvian necktie. Holy shit.
I missed this.
When was the last time we saw Peruvian necktie? Damn.
I think, like, realistically, I think I've seen one on Fight to Win, but I think it's probably been 6 or 8 months.
Yeah, easily. Very rare submission. Madras Fleminas defeats Steve Burton by guillotine. Aaron Pierre defeats Danny Stirk by split decision. Ollie Bates defeats Tom Gobber by unanimous decision.
Yeah, that was actually really good on the names, Emil.
You know,
Aside from the last couple, like, really, really good job.
yeah, I mean, England's pretty easy, so.
Yeah, unless your name is Ian or Owen.
Owen. Well,
So-
I think that dude is Welsh or something, but
I think he is too.
Yeah.
But yeah, really fun card. Good way to spend my Saturday after Thanksgiving, like watching me some jiu-jitsu.
yeah,
I was like sitting there at Rachel's dad's house, just chilling, like watching jiu-jitsu. I was like, this is a good way to spend an afternoon.
hell yeah, man.
And also, it came on like midday. I think it had an 11:30 start time.
Yep.
So I was like, fuck yeah, I got to watch it. And I was like, this is nice because it didn't end at like 3 a.m. I was like, I'm so tired.
Exactly.
Like some of the Asian ones and sometimes in the Cali events, they end so late. I'm like, I'm going to die. It's so late. But this was like, I think it finished at like, I want to say 7 or something or.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it wasn't probably, it was probably like 6. It was dark as shit because I was in Maine.
Yeah.
And so, but it was
Also,
nice.
Dude, props to Figure 4 for posting the clear results up on their Facebook page. Like, I can't tell you how fucking difficult it is for some promotions to find out even just basic information, let alone
you have no
results.
idea, Emil.
Dude.
Wait,
Yeah, I'm starting to get an appreciation.
We've been doing this for 55 episodes and a bonus show, like every single week. So behind the curtain here, Emil has just dealt with I've asked him to pull up the results for the event, and so he found it and pulled them up, and he's able to find it on Facebook. And Figure 4 does this. GrappleFest does this. Fight to Win does this. A couple other promotions do this, but a lot of promotions never put up their results for their event.
Yep.
And so if you are terrible at note taking like myself, you remember matches and you remember who won, and then after about 15 matches, you start to move things together in your head.
Yes.
And so we try to do this breakdown at the end of the week, and we don't have concise results.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to go off what we're remembering, or looking at the video and going and taking notes after the fact, which is always hard given the time frame of the show, because typically events happen on Friday or Saturday, and we record on Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, so we don't have a lot of time to watch a 4-hour event and go through it and find all the results. If there's no picture overlay, sometimes I can't tell who the competitors are. So
Yeah.
please, dear God, if you are a promotion and you have an event, do 2 things for me. One, on either website, on Facebook, put up where we can watch your event and when it starts, and who's on your card in text format.
That's it.
Please, who's your matchups. And then after your event concludes, put where we can watch the video and put a list of all your results and then any sort of payouts and any sort of champions that were crowned at the event.
Awesome.
That's all we need.
You know,
If you give us that, we can cover your event. That's all we fucking need.
oh man, what would be great is if there was a single place where all this information was up, single website.
That would be great, Emil.
So if you want to get on that, Maine, by all means.
Dude, I want to.
would
So
fucking love
I'm
that.
actually, speaking of the website, I'm actually in the process of like building a template for the website to do some stuff. And one of the things I want to do on the website is have event results listed, and then also link like what show we talk about that event into that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
hey, like
I mean,
this was, X event from like 8 months ago. Here's the results for the event if you need to find it. Because
Yep.
that's the thing we run into all the time.
Yep.
Is like we're trying to find information on a guy or someone upcoming on an event, and we can't find like, okay, what promotion was this? What match was this? Who won this event? Okay, I saw that they matched up, but there's no results information.
and then like, oh, someone pulled out. Oh, there was a switch here. These are all things that are like really important.
and really, really common. Like most grappling events, again, any card where you have 15 or 20 or 30 matches, you have like 40 to 60 grapplers on the event.
Yeah.
It's really common, especially for smaller events, even for big events, to have card changes day of, day before. And also because it's grappling, a lot of times, like, okay, you have a 170-pound purple belt, you send out a call in your area, and then a guy drives 3 hours, it's a 170-pound purple belt to fill in that spot.
Yeah.
And puts on a good match. And so it's like, okay, I didn't know that till the day of. So have a place, please, dear God, where you can find your results for your event. So props to Figure 4, props to Fight to Win, and all the other organizations that do this and put their stuff out so we can actually, cover it correctly.
Hell yeah.
We appreciate it. So I think that does it for our recap of GrappleFest 3. On to the previews. So on to our preview of Finishers 7. Finishers sub-only 7. This is happening at 10th Planet Bethlehem at Finishers MMA. I just visited these guys a couple weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
Super pleasant, super friendly. They're having an event on December 1st that'll be a lot of fun that I would be at, but we are having, I'm going to be at Josh's promotion for Black Belt.
Hell yeah.
So I can't go, which I'm excited to go support Josh, but I'm kind of disappointed because this looks like a fire fucking card, and it's a 125 event.
Yeah, which is
They're-
fucking awesome. It's a 16-man tournament for $1,600.
Yeah, dude. The 125ers are almost never showcased for the men, so I'm super excited to see a bunch of guys we don't get to see a ton, or a bunch of guys we have to see compete up and fight up in weight class constantly. So these guys are like cutting down to what weight class they should be competing at, or like really small guys who just get to walk at 125. So I'm super excited about this. We don't see the 125ers enough. I'm excited that they're doing it. And the winner of this tournament gets a bid into the Ultimate Warriors 4 in San Diego in a couple weeks, I think. I want to say that is March 9th. Yeah, there it is. Yep. It's on March 9th. So that's exciting because this actually basically means that you're getting a buy into another tournament. And they're making a little league almost, where it's like, okay, guys, win this one, they get a bid to this one. And it's like you're seeing the same guys that are successful being showcased on other promotions.
That's a great way of card building as well, because it means that you have people that have kind of demonstrated and proven themselves a little bit. So you get a little bit less of the squash matches.
Guys can perform.
Right.
It's like you have a guy coming in that you're champion for a finisher sub only, and he goes to Ultimate Mat Warriors. You're like, okay, this guy is a legit bad dude. He can
Right.
put up a really good match because we've seen him do that real recently at another really similar rule style promotion. So I'm excited for this, both of these events.
So the 16 men that we have are Gabriel Daffron, Chris Crawford, Mikey Sanchez, Mark Long, Jose Rodriguez, Taliesin Soares, Tadea Danforth.
We see him on Fight to Win Maryland all the time. That dude is exciting. We saw him, I think, on the first event we ever covered for Fight to Win, which was 53, which is our first episode of this show. He shot up a flying triangle in the preliminaries of Fight to Win at Purple Belt. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And he's put on exciting matches a bunch of time at Fight to Win. Nice guy. I'm excited to see him in this because I know I've seen him perform before.
Yeah, George Sadas is the next. We have Sam Michael, who we talked to for a while over at SAGC. And
he's the champion.
Yeah,
SAGC at 35, right?
Yeah, dude, he was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
He's really, really good.
We don't have a bracket yet for this, so I'm excited. I assume we're going to bracket, in Grappling Reruns fashion the day after the show comes out. So Tuesday morning, the bracket will probably be out. Maybe Thursday, but I'm excited to see where these guys match up and where all the brackets, where everyone's going to be in the bracket. But yeah, Sam Michael looked real good at SAGC 7, so
yep,
exciting.
We have Ricky Weatherall. We have Setente Cuatro. We have Kevin Dantzler. We have Eric Naples.
Yeah, I love his Instagram name. Naples _syrup. That's just a fucking great Instagram name. If your name is Eric Naples, your Instagram is Naples Syrup.
Amazing. Jimmy Santiago, Albert Tapia, and Henry Guevara.
Dude, there's a bunch of guys that we've seen before. Setente Cuatro is really, really, really active in a lot of these things. I think he's been on this before. Super exciting bracket. There's a couple guys at this that could take it. So
Yeah.
it's exciting.
We have great super fights too. We have Camilo Oliveras versus Devin Vogel, Manny Vasquez versus Grant Kirscher, Odoy Kayed versus Joseph Mujahid, Valor Boyer versus Zay. The last one was a little bit of a mystery.
We had a hard time finding the guy's name.
Yeah.
So we're going to go with Z.
Yep.
Or Zay.
Zay.
So, dude, super fun. It's an exciting event. I am hopefully going to be able to catch this live during the promotion. So it's I'm going to be watching Josh get black belt and be watching on my phone. Some guys do jiu-jitsu. So super exciting. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm not sure where they're streaming it. I think it's on Facebook. So take a look at that. But anything else you want to add, Emil?
No, that's it.
Super fun event. So on to our preview of Fight to Win 95 in San Diego, California. This event takes place on December 1st and is headlined by a black belt no-gi light heavyweight title match, Rafael Lovato Jr. versus Josh Hinger.
Jesus Christ, man. That is a fucking awesome match.
Dude, I think Lovato's the current champion. I think he beat, he rear naked choked Tim Spriggs for that belt. So this is exciting. Dude, Hinger's been super active recently.
Dude, he's been on a tear as well. Like, he's been training at Atos for a while and like just absolutely fucking savage.
Dude, he's at like every other open just murdering guys at the open. Like, I don't recall the last time I've seen him get beat at an IBJJF. I know he has, but I haven't seen it on Instagram.
Yeah.
So he's been really, really active recently. Super exciting to see this matchup. Who do you think takes this?
I have no idea.
Dude, Lovato's looked really fucking good recently, and so is Hinger. Like, this is a matchup that I could see either guy taking it. Lovato is a fucking world champion, though.
Yeah.
And that is a tough grind for any dude to beat a world champion.
So this is fucking world class right now.
Oh yeah, this is a good. Both these guys are at the top of their games, or like not right now, but like both these guys are really, really good competitors. This is a super exciting matchup. I don't know if these guys have ever met each other before. I assume that they have, but I don't recall.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So on the co-main event, we have a female bantamweight no-gi title fight, Jenna Bishop versus Tubby Aliquin. We saw Tubby on commentary recently. Really, really good commentator, super good. This is another high-level matchup. Like, Jenna Bishop and Tubby are always in the brackets, so are always in the finals for a bunch of events. Usually anything that they're in, they're at the top level. So this is another super exciting, well-deserved title fight.
Then we have Tarsus Humphreys versus Kuhio Tabankura.
Dude, love watching Tarsus compete.
Yeah, Tarsus is fucking...
Dude, this is a really good card. Just looking down this card, this is a really good card. Holy shit.
Yeah, dude. Then we have our Eduardo Tellis versus Cassio Wernick.
Vernick.
Yeah,
that's good as well.
We got motherfucking Barrett Yoshida versus Matt Palupaleli.
Nope, versus Andre Pontes.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
140-pound black belt gi match. Dude, this is good. Didn't Yoshida just win the title at bantamweight?
Yeah,
versus Christian Woodmansey.
We saw him
at Philly. Fight to win Philly.
We saw him in Philly.
So I don't know if this is it's just listed as a 140-pound black belt gi match. I don't think this is a title match because it's at 140. So I assume Yoshida's not making the cut down to he's not. I know he's not making the cut down to 35 for this. But this will be exciting. Hopefully we'll see some back crucifix action from Yoshida here.
Agreed. So I skipped ahead, and this is the match with Kong Seriale and Matt Palupaleli.
It's a super heavyweight black belt gi match. Next one, we have a 215-pound black belt no gi match.
We got Dustin Peak versus Andy Burke.
We have a 210 black belt gi match.
Mike Valles versus Jim Lawson.
We have a 195-pound black belt no gi match.
Herman Tirado versus Ben Dyson.
We have a 185-pound black belt gi match.
Rafael Dalinaha versus Ryan Robinson.
We have a 180-pound black belt gi match.
Rolando Sampson versus Paul Wu.
We have a 175-pound black belt no gi match.
Sergio Rios versus Michael Trasso.
170-pound black belt gi match.
Alfredo Barham versus Mark Wegener.
Wait, where are you going? You skipped something. 170 black belt gi match.
My apologies. Tristan Lasek versus Marcus Porter.
165-pound black belt gi match.
Alfred Barham versus Mark Wegener.
165-pound black belt gi match.
Johnny Tama versus Peter Frank.
165-pound black belt no gi match.
Dustin Akbari versus PJ Barch.
This is fucking exciting,
How
right?
is this all the way down here?
Well, because they list them by weight.
Oh, I see.
They list them by weight usually, but for some reason the top of the card for this particular event preview has some other names on it.
That's going to be fucking fire.
Dude, this is one of those you go like, okay, so there's like 4 or 5 different matches on this that could be a main event. Like, holy shit, this is a lot of fun.
So I'm really hoping that PJ is like, healed up by this
I assume if you're going against Akbari, you are.
Maybe, but like he had to pull out of 2 consecutive events.
Yeah,
right?
we saw him at trials. So I'm injured at trials. We saw Jeremiah Vance take his place at Kasai.
Right.
And then we saw last weekend something else.
Yeah, there was
somebody else took his place. It was Gamblers.
Yeah, I think
he was supposed to be on Gamblers Invitational or September 18, and he had to pull out for that as well. So hopefully he's back. Hopefully he's looking good.
Because this match would be fucking awesome. We've seen Dustin Akbari a bunch too.
Oh yeah, dude, he's on the main card all the time for Fight to Win.
And I think Dustin Akbari did he compete last week? I can't remember.
Might have I'm
pretty sure he did
at King of the Mat, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Then we have Kevin Burbich versus Dominic Damien.
Yeah, it's a 155-pound black belt no-gi match. Kevin Burbridge is a lot of fun too.
Yeah,
Like watching
man.
him as well.
Absolutely.
We have a 155-pound black belt no-gi match.
Adam Mason versus Ricky Lule.
Oh shit, that's
Yeah,
really
dude.
good. Dude, 10th Planet is coming out for this. This
Hell
is
yeah, dude.
fucking good. We see Lule on all the qualifiers for 10th Planet.
Holy shit. Okay.
Match after this, we have a 140 female no-gi bout.
We have Liz Carmouche versus Gabrielle Lima McCombs.
It's a good ass match. We have a 135-pound no-gi match.
Jeff Real versus Jacob Lee.
115-pound no-gi match.
Analilia Calzada versus Teresa Sigala.
Yeah, and then we get into the brown belts. Dude, this is a fucking stacked card.
This is fucking.
Oh
off
yeah, and the brown
chain.
belts, look, we got two.
Oh.
160-pound
Oh shit.
brown belt no-gi match.
We got Keith Krikorian versus Mateus Luna.
Oh yeah, so guess what? This year, Keith is 73-1 in 2018.
That's fucking buck wild.
Holy shit. He's has 73 wins and 1 loss, and the only loss he's taken in 2018 is to Ethan Kronstein in the 80cc North American trials.
Yeah.
In the East Coast trials. So like, holy shit. This card is fucking fire. I'm kind of upset that it is a West Coast card because it's going to end up super late.
But this is absolutely stacked.
Oh, this is crazy. And we have a bunch of purple belt matches, some teen matches. This card is amazing. This is probably, in my eyes, at least one of the top cards Fight to Win's had.
This
This looks
stacked.
amazing. So, yeah, dude, San Diego. Oh, that's why it's a San Diego card.
Yep.
You know, all those murderous gyms right in that San Diego
All
area.
the more reason why ADCC West Coast is going to be off the chain.
Dude, this is crazy. I am so excited for this card.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome.
Like, dude, it's going to be a good-ass weekend of grappling.
Yeah.
Got this on one screen, finishers on the other screen, Josh getting promoted.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get to sleep for the next, 3 days.
No.
It's going to suck.
So,
all right.
awesome.
So that does it for that
I can't
card.
wait for it.
It's going to be a great card. So on to our preview of Men of War 4, also taking place on December 1st. This one is, again, there's like 3 events that I wanted to go to this weekend, and I realized Men of War 4 is in Atlantic City. I forget where in Atlantic City. Finishers is up in PA. There's like 2 events that I could have gone to. It's like, it's a really good weekend for grappling.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. So already, we're seeing matchups that look super compelling. We have Zach Green versus Andrew Cockle at 170 pounds. This is a brown belt no-gi match. Dude, like, we talk about Andrew pretty frequently now. We've seen him compete a bunch recently. He's fucking awesome. And Zach Green is great too. We've seen him. So this match is going to be fucking
it's a really exciting match. Men of War puts on some fun matchups. Again, we have I forget exactly where they're going to stream it. I think it's on Fight TV or is it another service?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think it's a cheap pay. It's like a $10 pay-per-view or $15 pay-per-view. So it's a lot of fun.
You can check at their website, which is www.menofwarpro.com, and they'll have the streaming link there. So we have Teddy Drake versus Aaron Harris at 170-pound no-gi match as well. We have Chris Acevedo versus Steven Tonger at 190 pounds. We have Lana Martinez versus Peyton Hinkle. We have Mike Palladino versus Tito Hartz as the main event. It's a 170-pound no-gi match. This is black belts. We also have
it's out of order because we're going through the Facebook looking for card information.
Yep.
So that's our bad, guys. Sorry.
Chaz Canis versus Dwayne Shields. We have Alex Namath versus John DiLorenzo. We have Aaron Albert versus Christian Medina, who's awesome. We saw Christian compete recently too.
We saw him on was he on SCGC? Or was that his brother?
It was SAGC, but I can't remember which one.
Which Medina we saw.
That's right.
God damn, that's so confusing. Because I remember that he
He's like
either
a twin brother.
He either subbed for his brother or it was he is the brother.
Right.
And I should really, really fucking know this at this point. But again, it was fun, and I assume he fights like his brother if it is his brother.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It should be a good matchup.
Should be awesome. So
looks like a lot of fun. Men of War 4 also takes place on December 1st. So take a look at that. So that does it for all the previews. It is going to be a stacked week of fun shit to watch. And I have to get my weight down to like 151. I have absolutely no idea what I weigh after Thanksgiving. But I think that's like, because Naga.
You haven't even looked?
I haven't even looked because that doesn't have a scale.
Okay.
So I was signing up for Naga, Naga has weird weight classes, and they have 149. And I've only ever done Naga once. And so the weight class for Naga is 149.9, but I think they give you a pound allowance. So I've got to be like 151, which should be fine. My ass wasn't fat. Realistically, when I'm in shape, I'm like 149, and then I can cut down to 45 like by taking a shit with nothing else. So but I realized I was like, I should look at what weight I am. And he's in like 156 or something. Like, oh, I gotta diet. But I have like 3 weeks, and then that's the start of like all the competitions I'm gonna do.
Hell yeah, dude! You fucking super busy. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. I'm excited. I have this. We have Naga. Then there's a Grappling Industries. Then there's a Good Fight. Then there's another Grappling Industries sub only, and I'm signed up for all of those.
Damn, dude.
So I'm super excited.
Hell yeah.
If you were a purple belt and a small man, get at me, bro. I'll fight you in a bracketed format with refs and weird rule sets and points as I bang my face into the microphone. Ow. Do you compete, Emil?
No, but I actually have resolved to do that. Like, I'm not a naturally competitive person, and I've competed before, and it was like hell on my nerves.
You just didn't. Oh, it does really? You nervous?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's like the normal response.
It is a normal response, and like, but like, that being said, like what we do is a combat sport, and the way that we, as a community, not go the way of like Taekwondo
of
or
traditional martial arts
is competition. That's what keeps it real, more or less, right? And so
yeah,
that's actually one of the reasons why I started strength training and stuff like that, because I was like, all right, I need to.
Oh, you're gonna start compete again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's exciting, Emil.
So
what do you weigh?
I'm 155.
Get the fuck out of my weight class.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking hilarious. Like, Emil, what's up? Because I love competing. Like, I signed up for the Naga and for the Grappling Industries, and I was going to sleep and I got excited. I was like, fuck yeah, I get to compete. And I realized that I'm in like the minority where it's like I don't get nervous at all before I compete.
Well,
I'm just like amped for it. I'm like, yeah, I get to hurt someone. This is great.
I think out of the overall population, like, that might be true, but I think a lot of people who end up doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu are kind of naturally competitive, right? Like,
yeah,
like they want to win and stuff like that. I got into it because, I like the kind of like all the it comes out, I think, when I start talking about jiu-jitsu. I like the different technical aspects and the different
you like the
counters and
mental
stuff.
thing of it,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
like the working your way through a mental problem that happens to have like an athletic piece to it,
right?
But you want to see, like, we like watching really really good technique.
Yep.
Versus me, I like good technique, but I love when a dude just goons a choke. Like, I love
I know,
that.
get me wrong, I love that shit too. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be looking to enter that more.
What do you do? What event? Do you have a promotion or something that you
I
are
would
thinking
probably
about?
actually, I'm gonna start with believe it or not, like probably like at least an IBJJF rule set.
Okay,
I
that's
don't know
reasonable.
because what I'm mainly because of what I'm trying to work on right now, which is actually guard and stuff. Again, that's like why I'm talking about like hip flexibility and regarding and shit
That makes
like
sense.
that. Like the sub only stuff, I feel like that's too much of my game already, is like these piecemeal submission attempts and shit, and I'm trying to have like a more cohesive like
You just want to play
game.
the points and be able to like do, and like in quotes, so like good jujitsu.
Exactly, precisely.
Okay,
so
that's good. Also, you're over 30 now, so you get to compete in masters.
Yeah.
And IBJJF usually actually has like an actual master division that you can compete against.
Exactly.
You're not gonna have some 19-year-old trying to blow your knee out.
Yeah,
because you're a purple belt. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I want.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna fight these like 19-year-old kids who are trying to murder me, and I'm gonna try to murder them back, and then
Dude.
tell them I'm their real dad. It's gonna be great.
Keep your fucking body together, though, man. Like,
Dude, we
I
passed
don't
that.
need
We
your fucking-
crossed that bridge.
I don't need your arm falling off or some shit.
We
during
crossed
the
that
middle
bridge.
of
I'm
a
gonna start PT soon till I get the tear looked at. I thought I'm
PT, and you have these fucking competitions lined up.
I
like,
mean, man, you live by the sword, down by the sword.
oh my god, dude.
I'll heal up. We're good. Stem cells are getting there. We'll replace the joints here eventually.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not worried about it.
I'll try to work on a material for you, man.
Yeah, it'll be great. So I'm super excited about that. Anything else you got going on, Emil?
Oh, that's it, man.
You're gonna start competing. What's your time frame here? What do you think? Next 6 months? Next 2 years? Next 8 months?
Probably like 2 months. So.
Oh shit! So you're like really coming up. That's why you started strength
I
training.
feel like you have to, like, yeah, you have to. If you do any farther out than that, then like,
I'm big on goal setting.
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
think like that's why I
The
like
thing is,
Nagas
like,
in 3 weeks. I'm like, yeah.
if I don't, I need to. What I need to do is just register, and then
Then you have to
then
do
it's
it.
like, fuck it. All right,
It's like I'm already out $300 to IBJJF.
that's all right.
Do you have a membership card?
No, that's yet another thing, right?
Yeah, you got to get
So-
on that. You got to have everyone sign off on your belts, and
Yep.
then
Yeah, dude.
that'll be fun. That whole process is just a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, dude.
It's like, all right, this guy's got to sign off on your belt. You got your belt on this time. Then you got to send it to IBJJF. They got to verify the signature, and you got to get your little card with the profile picture on it, and they give it to you, and then you can register because we know that you're a real purple belt meal.
That's right. Because a card says so.
The fact that like we check on purple belts is like ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like if you're not a purple belt, we'll know immediately when he goes on that he's not a purple belt.
Yeah, and then even then, it's like, okay, like, what's won or lost at that point, right?
Right.
Like, there's no stakes at it. So
No,
anyway,
it's purple belt. No one cares about us.
so
We're not even
yeah.
we're not even real grapplers.
No, Also, dude, don't fall apart, man.
Oh, we already fall apart, Emil. Like, this is done. That 12-hour drive up to Maine in the car murdered me. And then the drive home was, I think, only about, like, 9 or 10 hours. I think we left at, like, around 8 o'clock. And we got into Baltimore at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Jesus.
So whatever math that is. We stopped, like, twice to, like, let the dog out and, like, to, like, pee and get gas. And it was, my body is rough, especially with this leg thing I have, the sciatic nerve thing. It's not been great. And I go back to work tomorrow, so it's gonna be a rough week for me.
Take care of yourself, man.
Yeah. All right, so that does it for this week on the Grappling Rewind. Anything else, Emil?
That's it.
I've been Maine.
I've been Emil.
And we will see you on the mats. If you like the show, please consider sharing it on Facebook with the folks at your gym. It's the best way that we grow the show, and we really appreciate it. You can reach out to us on email.
We also have Instagram. We have Facebook. We have Twitter. We have Google+.
Until that shuts down.
We have a website.
If you have an event you would like to have us cover, please let us know. If you have a name, like most people do, and you'd like to have us stop butchering it,
Let us know.
reach out to us. The show is also available on YouTube, Spotify, in addition to iTunes and every other podcast service. We very much appreciate your time, and thank you.